Bugsnax.
Hello, geeks, gamers, and gods of the internet. Welcome to another episode of the Powerful Nerdcast. It's 2020. E3 has been canceled, but it has been suddenly resurrected thanks to the amazing people at Sony. We just got the official reveal of a lot of the big launch titles and games which are going to be coming out on the PlayStation 5. We got an official reveal of the console. We got a look at some of the amazing titles that are coming. And honestly, I think that was one of the best presentations I've seen for a lot of new games that are getting ready to come out. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite games today and what we're looking forward to seeing on the PlayStation 5. Before we jump into individual games, though, I just want to go down the line and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on what you thought about the presentation overall, just general thoughts. Christian, we'll start with you at the very end.
Yeah, okay. So overall, I thought the presentation was very well done. I liked the way it flowed. I do think there were times that it went from one trailer that had such a different feel to a different trailer that had a different feel. I don't think there's any way they could have helped that though, because when you have different gameplay styles, different art styles, how are you going to cut between them? I don't get that. Also, I was a little sick of the X, O, and square transitions they kept using. And I liked the pacing of it because they came out strong with the Spider-Man title, and then I think they ended with the Horizon Dawn trailer, and it was good, strong end cap to the whole thing, and I liked the big reveal of the console. I don't want to get too into the console, but I'm a little disappointed there's not a black version of it because I feel like a PS system is a black system, and because they're coming out with just a white version of it right now, the two different styles, the one with the disc drive and the one without, I don't know, I kind of feel like they're going away from what a PlayStation is for me. I don't want to get too into that now. I want to talk all about that towards the end of the podcast, though, with all you guys. But overall, I was very excited. It was very interesting. Some games I could care less about. Some games I thought were kind of a joke, and some games I'm really pumped for. What about you, Michael?
So I was amazed the entire time. There was just something always keeping my attention. I mean, obviously, like you said, there's some that are a joke and maybe not as popular as the other ones. Mm-hmm. But immediately it started out with the GTA 5 reveal, and everyone thought that was a tease for the GTA 6 coming out. But we're okay with it being an enhanced version of GTA 5. We'll see what happens with that. But then Spider-Man immediately busted through the screen, and I could not stop watching the presentation. That was it for me. And then it just kept getting better and better as the hour went and ended with the console. I was really impressed. I didn't think Sony would pull out all the stops this time because, this is the second kind of time we're going through a new generation of consoles phase. The first time being the 360 to the Xbox One and the PS3 to the PS4, but now we're going from the PS4 to the PS5. So now we're seeing, a whole new generation, and we're seeing all these brand new titles and all these brand new characters that I'm really excited to see. These are not just remakes of any kind whatsoever. So
yeah, a lot of cool new stuff.
So my overall thoughts here, it is a little disappointing that there isn't a traditional E3 this year, but I think we've seen over the course of the last couple of years that there's been sort of a change in the industry and how they like to sort of show off their games. It all started when Nintendo started doing the Directs, and then we had the State of Play that was done by Sony, and I think this is probably, in my opinion, the best presentation that they've had ever. They decided to focus on one thing only, which was the games itself and some of the minor features of the actual system itself. And they came out of the gate swinging. Michael, like you, I was like, oh man, are we about to get GTA 6? We didn't get it, but they immediately followed up with Spider-Man Miles Morales, which looked fantastic. It's going to be a sequel or an expansion to the original Spider-Man game on PS4, so I'm very excited for that. But then they just kept this momentum going for an hour straight, where there was a brand new game revealed every couple of minutes, and I loved the variety. That was my favorite thing about it. You could go from an M-rated title to a goofy, cartoony game to something that's completely indie title. There was everything you could potentially want here, and I think what impressed me the most is the amount of new IPs and new franchises that were introduced here. Sony didn't rely on their classic franchises to get themselves through this presentation. We could have seen God of War and all that other stuff that we typically saw, but they decided, let's show off some new stuff, and there was a lot of stuff here that blew me away. Some more than others. Some were a little disappointing, and those were even minor at best. So, yeah, I loved this presentation. It was entertaining as hell. But let's go ahead and let's just kind of dive through some of the major games here and some of our favorites. Like we said, they started out with GTA 5. It's going to be an expansion on the original game. They're probably going to re-release the original game with the story and a lot of the stuff that's going on with the online mode. I don't blame Rockstar for this because they've made so much money off of just that game alone. Who needs to make a brand new title? Just enhance the game and modify it for
Sell
PlayStation
more
5.
DLC.
Exactly. People are going to play it. And of course, it's going to be free initially when you get the console for the very first time. So that's already something that's really amazing, just to have a free game like that when it comes right out of the gate. But first, let's just go ahead and dive into Spider-Man. I mean, this was great. Yes. What I loved about the trailer, too, was how it opened up, because I had no idea what it was. My first thought when I saw it was, is this like some sort of, what was that one game? I think Infamous is what it reminded me of, because I saw the electricity, and it felt kind of like a superhero game. And slowly but surely, you get the shot of this kid who's like fighting against some weird electric enemy, and he's wearing like a black suit, and you can't tell what it is because it's destroyed. But slowly but surely, they start to reveal his face and the mask, and it's the Miles Morales Spider-Man mask. And then boom, the trailer just explodes, getting to see Miles swinging around the city in New York in a Christmassy winter setting, which I think is really great. It's going to separate it from the other Spider-Man game, and the game itself is just called Spider-Man Miles Morales, and it's hard to say what it really is at this point. My first thought when I saw it was, oh, this is the sequel to Spider-Man. Like, this is the next big game. But apparently they've been reporting that it's either an expansion or it's some sort of spin-off of that series. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. It doesn't really diminish my hype, however. Just to be able to experience a brand new full game playing as Miles and a brand new story with enhanced graphics, and they've already said there's going to be a lot of new mechanics in the game, so it might as well be a sequel. But yeah, that was a great way to start off the presentation.
So I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. He's my favorite character of all time. And I fell in love with the PS4 Spider-Man game so much that I actually bought a PS4. I'm originally an Xbox player, and
just for that game, you bought it.
Just for that game, yeah. I bought the PS4, and I don't regret it at all. And I kind of regret that I've been on Xbox for so long, and I've been missing out on all these awesome exclusives. But this Miles Morales trailer really kind of piqued my interest on what they're going to do with the rest of the series. I don't know, are they going to come out with a new Spider-Man every so often? Are they going to do different episodes? Are they going to continue the linear story? And then there's even theories throwing around that Miles Morales is being put into the New York City setting because Peter is off fighting with the Avengers in the Avengers game. So there's a lot to kind of throw around and kind of toy around with the ideas. But I'm excited either way. I'm really excited to see what sort of villains they're going to throw at Miles. I was throwing around a couple of ideas, even with that first scene. Maybe that's Mysterio or something. Maybe the Lizard's in there somewhere. We don't know. But I'm really excited to see where that story goes along and how it all plays out. Because either way, I'm buying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does look like a really great game. I didn't play the original Spider-Man you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm not like entrenched like you guys are excited about this one. This is not one of my biggest titles that I'm excited for, but it does look really good. And I like what you were just saying, Michael, that maybe they'll just come out with new episodes, but they'll just keep kind of like reusing the game engine. And of course they're going to expand it because the PS5 has so much more hardware capability, so they can make the view distance better. They can make the textures higher resolution, and they can just keep coming out with, here's a new episode where they have him fight a new bad guy.
Maybe it's Spider-Gwen or, Spider-Pig or something.
Bring like Spider-Hunter stuff into the game.
Spider-Pig. I'm down with Spider-Pig.
Spider-Man Noir, maybe.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I didn't expect we were going to get to Miles Morales this quick, but I'm honestly kind of excited about it. When the character of Miles Morales was introduced like over a decade ago, I believe, in the Marvel comics, I wasn't a big fan of the character because I always felt in the back of my mind is like, we don't need to replace Spider-Man. Spider-Man is who he is. But over the years, with all the ways they've been introducing him in other storylines and into the Spider-Verse, and now that he's getting his own game, I have to admit, Miles is a lot more interesting than Peter Parker in some senses. And I honestly
he has more going on than just his uncle died.
Exactly. There's so much more to that character than the same old, with great power comes great responsibility. Of course, there's some of those things that still hang over the character's head, but it's just portrayed in a different light. And in many ways, Miles is a lot more relatable to, modern kids today. That's probably why he's so popular. But I can't wait to experience the stories in this game and what they're going to do with him and how it's going to expand this whole, Spider-Man video game franchise, because that first one on PS4 was fantastic. It looks amazing, still looks amazing, and this game manages to push it even farther. So it was really smart of Sony to, just come out of the gate swinging with this brand new game, which just, wow, it was really exciting when that happened. That pretty much set the precedent for the whole presentation at that point. I'm like, what else are they going to surprise us with? Because I honestly thought we were a couple years away from another Spider-Man game. I was like, there's no way they're going to pump it's been, what, a year and a half, 2 years since the Spider-Man game came out?
2 years.
Yep.
And, they're already giving us this now. It's crazy. I'm honestly shocked.
They must have saw how popular it was and just been like, oh, we got to make another one of these right now.
Haul ass.
Yeah.
Make this game happen.
Yep.
And, I'm glad we saw Spider-Man. I'm a little shocked we still have not seen any announcement of the new Arkham game, which we know is happening. They are clearly going to be saving that for something else, and I thought that was going to pop up here, but I'm pretty satisfied with getting Spider-Man, because that really is the Arkham of Spider-Man games.
I did not know that another Arkham game was coming out.
They're working on it, yeah.
I thought that Arkham Knight was it.
I don't know, maybe they'll save that for Xbox. They need something.
Xbox is going to pay out the ass for that.
They need something.
Speaking of that, this whole presentation really kind of set my decision on where I'm going to go in the next year, because I've been an Xbox guy for so long. Starting out with the 360, all my friends played Halo in high school, and so on. And PS4 didn't really have anything to compete with until just recently with Spider-Man, all these awesome exclusives. But my decision, I'm jumping ship. I'm jumping off the Microsoft train, and I'm going towards Sony. I'm gonna do all the PS5 and whatever they have to offer off from there, because Microsoft has not stepped up their game in years. The only thing that they have to sort of look forward to is Gears of War and Halo. And to be honest, I'm kind of bored of those.
That's been the same song and dance though since the 360.
That's right.
They've rested entirely on those games. I'm
and
sure
you can even get Halo on PC now, like the remastered edition off Steam. You can get all the Halo games on a PC,
which
now.
Arguably will probably play better.
Well, they'll probably play better, and you have probably more expandability where you could play online. And I don't know. I just built a PC the other day, probably a $600 PC, and it was amazing how powerful it was and how great it was. And I'm getting more into gaming. I've played so many hours of Counter-Strike in the last 2 weeks. I forgot how fun that game was. I know I'm taking us off in a different direction.
It's addicting as hell.
Yeah, it's a great game. And I just think I'm excited to see what the Xbox is going to do. I want to hold my judgment a little bit before I jump ship like you, Michael. But is Microsoft have a scheduled event to release?
They haven't announced anything yet, but I guarantee that
because they need to supplement E3. Since there is no E3, they need to have their own digital.
They
event.
already probably have something planned, but I guarantee after this presentation, they're like, guys, we need to do something.
We need to we need to make a Zoom call right now and tell everyone
because, like I said, I really think Sony killed it. But let's go ahead and move on because we have so many games to talk about. Christian, I know
Gran
one that you're excited.
Turismo 7. I know you guys aren't racing guys, and to be honest, I don't play many racing games, but I've always enjoyed the Gran Turismo series because of its realism. It's not an arcade racer, and the textures look amazing. The maps look amazing, and I bet the new controller with all of its feedback is going to give you so much more. That's the problem with racing games. You don't understand what's happening with the car because you have no feeling. Like when you drive a real car, you feel the road, you feel the G-force, you feel everything. And I feel like the new controller is going to make this racing game feel so much more, you're going to get so much more feedback from what the car is doing. And it looks really cool. And I'm excited to see what the PS5 is going to do. And I'm excited about a standard solid state hard drive being in all of these systems so they load really fast, and load times are going to be under 10 seconds for everything from now on, it's going to be really exciting. And I know you guys don't have much to say about this, but I am excited about Gran Turismo 7.
I like that you mentioned the controller because I think that's going to enhance this game a lot. One of the big features of the PlayStation 5 controller is that audio feedback that comes through in the controller. It's kind of like Nintendo's ridiculous thing. They call it the HD Rumble. It's just, Rumble technology has gotten a lot better. And like you said, when you have that controller in your hand, you're going to be able to tell what the car is doing.
Remember back in the day when it was the Rumble Pack in the 64? That was one of the first ones.
Where it made your controller weigh 10 pounds?
Yeah, but it only had one little rumble thing. But probably this controller has multiple little rumble packs throughout the whole thing, even designed into the triggers. So everything is going to be giving you so much more feedback. That's why I think a racing game is really going to take advantage of that.
No, I mean, there's no doubt. It looks gorgeous. Gran Turismo has always been ahead of the curve in terms of racing games and technology, and it looks very pretty. When it comes to racing, I'm more of a Mario Kart guy.
Yeah, you're more of an arcade racer.
But I can appreciate Gran Turismo. I've definitely played a lot of the ones back in the day, so racing enthusiasts are probably really going to love this. But going down the line again, some games that looked cool, but we're not necessarily super into. There's a brand new Ratchet and Clank called Rift Apart.
It was a fun trailer.
It was a fun trailer, again, showing off more of the technology of the system and what it's capable of with all the explosions and crazy things going on. So platformer fans are definitely going to look forward to that. Ratchet and Clank has had a long history, and it's been very popular for Sony. And it's one of their original franchises, too, so I'm glad that they're keeping it alive. There was also Project Athia, which is a brand new Square Enix game, which, again, not much to say about it outside of the fact that it's just a big third-person action RPG with some dark fantasy elements. One game, however, that I thought was very interesting is Stray. Move over Cyberpunk 2077. I want to play as a cat in a cyberpunk world of robots. They didn't show any gameplay, but they showed this remarkable trailer of this like weird dystopian city that is filled with all these robot people.
Homeless robots.
You play as a cat in this world in a giant open world game, and I don't even really know what to think. I just want to know what the entire game is going to be all about. And I love the creativity of it. I love getting away from humanoid characters and playing as like an animal or something. I find that very intriguing.
Yeah, it's like that the dog game that had the like spinning disc on its back. What was
Okami?
That? Okami, yeah.
One of the most underrated games of all time.
Stray looks cool. They knew the internet loves cats. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always a big fan of that like cyberpunk look with the neon lights and the music and everything. And I like the fact that it's a city of robot people that have very simple designs.
Do you like Blade Runner? Do you like cats? We got the game for you.
Pretty much, yeah. That's basically it. Another one that looked pretty cool is a brand new third-person shooter called Returnal, which is some sort of like giant open world game where you play as this like female astronaut who's stranded on some sort of alien planet. And I'm not sure what to make of this one outside of the fact that it just looks really gorgeous and it looks like it's going to have amazing storytelling. But I thought that was another really good looking game.
I think it's what Death Stranding should have been. It's sort of like...
Did it give you a Death Stranding feeling?
Yeah,
it did me too.
Yeah, it's like what could have been with Death Stranding, because Death Stranding was a cool idea.
Pull up some of that gameplay on there.
Yeah. So
go like a little over halfway through.
I'm not going to play the audio so we don't get in trouble, but...
No. It just... I don't know. I thought it was really unique. At first I was like, give me less of the story and more of actually the action.
It has the whole concept of... what was that... Die, Repeat, that Tom Cruise movie.
Live, Die, Repeat.
There we
Die,
go.
Repeat. Yeah, I know Edge of
Ironically,
Tomorrow
not
is
the only game in this
presentation
that does something with repeating time and looping.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just think that I love when someone creates like a really well thought out world. And this one looks
got
really
some wheat
interesting.
hands going through the wheat.
Yeah, gladiator style.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just I like the look of the weapons, and the enemies look really, really crazy. Like once they finally get to the gameplay, it looks really cool. Maybe not revolutionary in the sense that it's doing anything tremendously new, but what it's doing, it looks just really unique. I love the effects in the game too.
Yeah, what'd you think of this plot one, Michael? Does this to me looks like it's going to be great or completely flop?
So it's hard to say on that on how successful it'll be, but I think it's definitely like it's interesting in the sense of like it's different combat. Like I haven't seen this sort of combat in a game in a while. Like it kind of reminds me of the old PS2 game, like the Men in Black series games where you fight all those cartoon aliens. But
I never played those.
Those were super fun, and I played them a lot when I was younger. But
Here come the Men in Black.
But yeah, it reminded me of that, but like on a darker tone, like sort of like a Destiny level, like you're going through this linear
That's
level.
a good way to put it. It's like Destiny and Death Stranding
Yeah.
merged together into a game.
It's if Ridley Scott directed Destiny.
Pretty much,
That's basically the feeling that I get.
If Destiny actually had a substantial like story.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is going to be obviously a very like isolated and atmospheric story about this woman who's trapped on this planet, which has a lot of really varying environments, and the enemy design looks really unique. Just in the effects of the game. I love all of the crazy effects and everything. It just looks great.
It seems like I'm going a little bit off on a riff here. It seems like time travel, multiverse, and repeating, your game repeating your life over and over again is a theme we're seeing a lot in pop culture now, mostly in Rick and Morty. You know,
But a lot of games have been utilizing that, though.
that's what I'm saying. Like games are using it now. We're also saw what was that game or that movie with all right. What was that guy's name?
All right.
Interstellar.
Using like
Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew McConaughey. All right. Yep. Anyway, the point is this style of storytelling where they just like, by the way, you get to do it a lot. You get repeats, you know, like this whole multiverse thing is becoming very prominent in storytelling now as a storytelling
It's the
device.
same kind of plot with the Deathloop game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what, let's go ahead and jump into that, because Deathloop I thought was one of the other like interesting titles here, and it's another brand new first-person shooter from Bethesda. Shooter, and it's from Bethesda. And again, this one had a really like kind of pulpy, kind of Quentin Tarantino-esque kind of trailer to it, which I thought was really fun.
Like shell-shaded.
Yeah, it had like a really interesting style to it, and this is another one of those games that utilizes the ability to basically go back in time and redo things over and over and over. And I really liked it. And I'm not really big into first-person shooters that much. There always has to be some sort of interesting gimmick to get me hooked into it. And this one looks really damn great. I loved it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it looked good. And on top of that, I think the gameplay looks fun. Mm-hmm. And did they explain? I forgot how they explained his powers. Like they said he has, or maybe it's just the world this happens.
Yeah, I think it's the world that he's on. He calls it like the Black Reef. And it's like this giant planet that's filled with like all of these crazy people wearing these animal masks.
Isn't he like
and
an
basically
agent? He's like an agent or something?
I think so.
I think he's a
like
hitman.
that. And like he's being hunted down or something, and there's another person who's actually trying to kill him, and he's just trying to relive these events and basically make it work for him.
Yep.
But it's the gameplay looks really solid. I mean, obviously it's first person and everything, but
Again, he's got that Morty restart button.
exactly.
It gave me a BioShock vibe.
Yes, especially when they
BioShock.
first started showing the gameplay.
Yeah, it seems
I almost expected him to run into like the Circus of Values. Like it really felt
the
like
circus
that
of values.
But yeah, I love the gunplay.
So
like
the
that
guns
one
look-
shot in the hallway.
Yeah, the guns look really like vintage looking, which gives me the BioShock.
Yeah, like
kinda
the
look.
1920s kind
And
of
even
look.
like that aesthetic plus like all the environments that they're in with the houses and the
And he has powers too.
Yeah,
like he can
yeah.
it's not
push.
just gunplay and everything, and he's also acrobatic and stuff, and just this looks really unique. I love when they can do something new with a first-person shooter, and I especially love that it's a single-player experience. There might be a multiplayer component to it, but
It'd easily make a death match with this game.
easily.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, just this was one that really, at first I was going, it's okay, but the more I saw of it, it really impressed me quite a bit.
It's interesting. It's definitely a very original looking game. And it has some tried and true things we've seen in other games, but it's all comes together as an original package.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, Deathloop I think looks really great. But moving on, we get to see that Little Big Planet is going to be returning, this time in the form of a 3D platformer called Sac Boy, a great adventure. And again, kind of indifferent on this one. I played the first Little Big Planet when it came out back on the day in PlayStation 3, and I had fun with it. I'm not a very creative person when it comes to creating levels. It's kind of like with Mario Maker. I buy that game to play other people's levels, and that's what I did with Little Big Planet. I would play other people's levels, but this is a more traditional platformer where everything's already pre-created, and you basically just go on a big fun adventure with Sackboy. You can have multiplayer fun with your friends.
The world looks great.
Exactly. It's in the tradition of, say, like a Mario platformer. It takes a lot of inspiration, I think. Well,
But a more modern Mario platform. Like it's
Definitely.
not sideways anymore. It's like 3D.
and I'd like to say that they're taking inspiration from stuff like, say, Yoshi's Woolly World or something, or, that stock where everything looks kind of like fabric and everything. But Little Big Planet did it first. It's just now they're creating their very own platformer. And again, I like that they're keeping it alive. It's one of their IPs that's not as popular, but it's unique, if anything. And I think it's going to be a good, fun game to play with the family, with the kids. Just wholly inoffensive and fun. Simple as that. And it looks pretty. I mean, you can't deny it's a very nice looking game.
Yep.
They've
The
always looked that
PS5
good.
definitely has good looking games.
I don't know if you guys have ever delved into Little Big Planet, but
I played the demo. I downloaded it. I didn't really go too deep. It wasn't my kind of game. I'm not a platformer guy. What about you, Michael? Have you played this game?
So, not really. I know I had a bunch of friends that played it on PS3 and stuff like that, but I never really, I never got into it because I was on Xbox, unfortunately,
There we
the
go.
longest time.
You've repented for your sins. It's okay.
I hope so, because I'm really kind of regretting this now.
Jeez.
All these exclusive looks.
And there were some sports games too.
There were. Actually, moving on, we have Destruction AllStars, which is like a mixture of Fortnite
And Rocket League, yeah.
and Rocket League. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like a more happy-go-lucky Twisted Metal, if you will. What I really love about it is that it's like, Destruction Derby on crack, but I love that there's actually characters that can like run around on the field too. Like, it's really strange. I think this is going to be one of those games that, again, is going to be a really fun multiplayer game, and it's pretty clear that the creators of this game are like, oh yeah, Fortnite, Rocket League, let's put these two together stylistically and try to create some brand new multiplayer experience, which, who knows, it could end up being a lot of fun.
And it's all like melee combat and melee attacks, and there's no like guns or anything like that, which is pretty interesting. It's more strategic.
I like the idea of a demolition derby where you can also run around at the same time, but you're not at a disadvantage being out of a car.
Yeah.
So it kind of is an interesting concept, and all the cars look very original, very pastel, very safe, a lot of smiling faces as they get run over.
Exactly. Like I said, it's
death
taking
and
that
blood.
Fortnite kind of like feel.
Yeah.
Which, you can't deny is popular, or even Apex Legends for that matter.
Yeah.
It definitely has kind of that feel to it. But who knows? That could end up being like a really fun multiplayer
Then
game
we got
with the friends.
NBA 2K21. Don't care.
Yeah. The minute a basketball trailer came up, I was just like, I don't care.
Waiting.
The
Time to get up
chat
and
was
get coffee.
hilarious. I exited out of full screen to see what the chat was saying. Every comment was like, sports, boring, don't care, move on.
Sports ball.
It's the same old thing. So, yeah, nothing to say about that. But moving on, there's another game that looks pretty interesting.
Goodbye Volcano High?
No. Let's just go ahead and say this. Goodbye Volcano High. Cringiest trailer of the entire presentation. And boy, is that one not for me. I don't even know what it is. It's
There
a
was
bunch
no
of
gameplay.
angsty dinosaur teenagers, and I don't even know what it is.
I'm past that stage of my life. Michael, that's your stage. What do you think of it?
That's kind of offensive. I don't really appreciate it. I'd say it's more of a Dragon Tales, but they're going through puberty.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I would give it. But
The dinosaur had bangs.
I don't think it deserves
The
us.
Triceratops had bangs on its head.
I don't think it deserves our commentary, to be honest with you.
There we go. I feel that's the best way to put
Not
it.
much to say about it. But a game that I would like to talk about is a brand new big third-person open-world game called Kenna Bridge of Spirits.
Bugsnax?
No, we'll get to that eventually. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which is a really unique game that gave me kind of like a
The Black
Breath of
Ewok
the Wild
game.
vibe.
Yeah.
To be honest, just because of the look of the world and how you traverse it, and it's another brand new IP. It's the announcement trailer for the game, and I don't know. I have a feeling that this one has a lot of potential for it. It has a really nice realized world that clearly is inspired by Asian culture.
It gave me like the Avatar: The Last Airbender or Legend of Korra sort of vibe.
Exactly.
Yep.
Kind of mixed with, like I said, with Breath of the Wild. Like even the bow she uses looks kind of like the ancient arrows. But the actual like gameplay that they eventually show in the trailer, I think looks really solid. I don't know much more about this. Like I said, they didn't show too much outside of some cinematics and a little bit of the gameplay at the
Magic
end.
Group.
But the world itself,
Platforming,
I
and
think
she can command these little minions she has that are cute, and they have giant eyes. So everyone's cool with that. She uses them to do things in the world, and she commands them to attack. And she also has her staff that turns into a bow with her magic arrows. It's a cool looking game, and I like the art style a lot. And the world, if it's well done, looks well developed.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like a linear puzzle game, with mixed in combat.
I mean, all that stuff looks really good to me. I mean,
And it doesn't look like moving concept art. Like it looks like a thoroughly made game.
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you see concept art games. Like I feel like there were a few of those.
And I
we'll
love
get to that.
it's not trying to be Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, it's not trying to be super realistic. It's going for something stylistic and a little more cartoony in that sense. And I think those type of games always end up aging a lot better.
So yeah, I feel like this game could be a series almost. Like there probably will be a sequel to that eventually.
I mean, it was really great. Moving on from there, we get the return of a classic franchise, Oddworld Soulstorm. I've never been an Oddworld fan. It's been around for a long time. It's been on PlayStation. It's been on Xbox. It's even been on Nintendo a little bit. I mean, there's not much to say outside of the fact that it lives up to its name in every way. It's a very strange, esoteric, and alien type of game that always tries to do something different, and I can't applaud it for that. Soulstorm seems to be more of a
Seems grander.
And it's more returning to the tradition of the series of being like a platformer. I can't fault the game for being incredibly unique, but I've just never been an Oddworld fan.
Me either. But this one looks good, and I know the people that do like this series are probably going to love this game.
Oh, they're probably freaking out because this looks like the craziest Oddworld game in years.
It has physics. It has all destructible environments. It has all sorts of cool things. They're obviously utilizing the PlayStation 5's power. That's for sure.
For people who are into the lore of Oddworld, it seems like they're going to enjoy it. It's a series that's been kind of tongue-in-cheek in terms of how it does its games. Like, they're funny, but there's this like kind of dark Tim Burton-esque feeling to it. So yeah, I'm sure Oddworld fans are pumped about that game.
The guy can open his mouth, but yet it's sewn shut. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's weird. I think his name is Abe.
It's more of a metaphor for the man keeping you down. I don't know. I'm just making shit up
So
here.
here's another game that got me really excited. It's a brand new game from Shinji Mikami, a guy who's worked with Capcom and Resident Evil before. It's a brand new first-person game called Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
And again, I love unique first-person adventure games, and this one is doing something completely different than anything I've ever seen. Basically, they're taking like the concept of BioShock and using like just straight no guns, only like the plasmid abilities, except that now it's done with like this sort of like Japanese Shintoism style. Yeah, you do hand signs, and you like if you watch Naruto and they do the hand sign attacks and everything, they do that to attack.
Do a few, Corey. I know you know a few. Yeah, Corey knows a few.
That type of shit.
Yeah.
And I love it. The setting is going to be like in this Tokyo where no one is alive anymore. It's just filled with all these supernatural ghosts, and you just have to navigate it and survive, and I'm sure there's a deeper storyline to it. But this shot right here that I love, right? When you see him attacking, boom, 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 bah!
Oh, the raincoat girl calls in the demons, and he like blows away, and they like fall away in chunks or like squares.
It just looks gorgeous and unique and very experimental, but I have a feeling, and this is from Shinji Mikami, who is an extremely creative director. So I'm excited to see what this is going to be about.
Christian was saying it looks more like a VR game more than anything.
It does have a VR feel to it.
And I agree. It looks like a more finished version of like Super Hot almost.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, definitely.
Or like
way more details.
More intense combat and more intense powers.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not a VR game because these hand motions are so accurate. They're not what a VR looks like. Yeah. But it looks like if you took what a VR game could be in 10 years from now, but still just put it on a controller, that's kind of what this looks like. Yeah, it looks good.
But this was, I'd say, a top 3 games. This is in my top 3. Like
the way it uses ray tracing, which is the way light bounces off stuff, which is something they're talking about with that PS tech demo they did a little while ago. Like the lighting, the way things are playing off shiny surfaces, the way that you defeat your enemies by like blasting them with all your hand attacks and hand beams, and then you have to like rip out their circle heart energy source or whatever that is. I don't know. I'm trying to describe this. It's hard.
Innards, just rip them out.
You got to squeeze that berry out of them. And but yeah, it looks good and it looks interesting. But I do have one criticism. Will that be fun for 10 or 20 hours? I don't know. Because if it's just 8 different enemies that you fight the same enemies over and over again, that might not be fun.
I don't know. Shinji Mikami has had a history of making games with varied enemy design, and I have a feeling they're going to take advantage of the fact that it's set in Tokyo. They're going to use Japanese mythology. They're going to bring in
There's
going to
be a Ninetales.
There's going to... I promise you, there will be a Ninetales demon boss in this game.
And there'll be the frog thing? Or
there'll be giant toads. There will be all manner of demons. Like, I have a feeling this game is going to be a
showcase. Monkey that's named Goku.
Quite possibly.
You know?
Or Enma. It's going to be in there.
Exactly.
It's going to be awesome. I'm very excited for that one.
Well, this is reminding me of the that other game...
Bugsnax?
The little devil.
Bugsnax?
The little devil? No.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, Bugsnax. You want to talk about Bugsnax?
Little Devil.
Let's talk about Little Devil Inside, because this is another super unique game that like I just kept scratching my head while watching it, but I really love the art style.
Again, these cartoony art styles are working. Like, was it Kara? What was that other one? The one with the little black...
Kenna?
The
Bridge of Spirits?
Kenna and this game look very similar to me. This game, though, to me, suffers from, I call it the moving art style book or whatever, or the moving storyboards, because I didn't really understand the gameplay as much. I just see beautiful images for a little bit as they're animated. So I want to see how this plays out as a world, but it looks so interesting, and the characters look really cool.
Yeah.
And the gameplay looks interesting.
The gameplay, I don't even know what kind of game this is. Like, clearly there's a little bit of action shown, and there might be some sort of open world element to it, but it's the art style that sells this one like big time. And I love that all these big publishers and game creators are finally starting to realize in order for a game to be good, it doesn't have to be hyper realistic. Like it can be really stylistic and interesting. Like I get big Legend of Zelda Wind Waker vibes from this game. Like just from the look of the characters, not so much the environments. But like I said, just like Kenna and a lot of these other games that have like a goofy art style or a more, cartoony, less subdued one, they're going to age a lot better. Like you're going to look at this game 10 years from now and it's still going to look gorgeous, and it might look better than, say, Ghostwire will in 10 years just because of the actual art style.
Yeah, because it's not trying to go for real, because real will always fade as technology gets better.
Exactly.
You're like putting a stake in time, and then things will improve beyond that.
But also the trailer itself was just charming and kind of funny and just strange. Like
there's this weird dichotomy between this old guy and this young adventurer, where the old guy is more comfortable and he's just living his life, and this adventurer is
out there getting hurt and
he's almost
healing,
dying,
and taking a shit.
Taking a shit with a bomb.
Like I said, the trailer has a good sense of humor too. I don't know what to make of it yet. It almost seems like an indie title in a way, but at the same time, it clearly has production value behind it. Like there's someone pumping money into this project. Yeah, it looks.
It's got a bird
really
dragon.
Impressive.
It's got a Yeti.
The enemies look really cool. Just, I don't know what to expect from this game. I have a feeling it's going to be something special.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it just has the potential to be something special, and I think that's why we spent a little time talking about it, because it looks interesting.
So we're going to move on from there. There's a couple others. One that didn't really do anything for me. It's called The Far Shore. I couldn't tell you much about this game. The trailer was mostly all cinematic and, just concepts. And like I said, that's really almost all I have to say about the game. It was probably next to Goodbye Volcano High, probably the one trailer that I was just like, I walked
out of the room and came in on the middle of this one.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like just some shit they left in there in between trailers.
Yeah.
Like it didn't even strike me as a real game trailer.
Yeah.
I thought it was just them putting up stats about PS5 or something.
I mean, I'm going to have to see more. I don't know what I'm looking at yet. Like, it just looks like a giant world.
It gave me a lot of No Man's Sky vibes.
That was exactly where I was going to go with this. Yeah, because it kind of seems like you go to different worlds, you fly around.
That's almost like a genre unto itself now. The giant planet.
The space exploration games?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is like its own world. And I love those games. I really wanted to love No Man's Sky. Unfortunately, I played it in the early days where there wasn't much to it. So I played about 12 hours and quit.
But yeah.
The Far Shore, you get it? You jet to the far shores of new worlds?
There you go. Novel concept.
Yeah.
Another game that, I'm going to be honest, didn't really blow me away. It looks pretty, but there's not much to it, is Godfall, which is a brand new action game, which is basically just like every other button-mashing action game that you've ever played.
Reinhardt Simulator.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the armor looks cool and everything, but I have zero emotional attachment to anything that this game was actually trying to deliver. And plus, the game has been leaked for over a year. We've already seen some of that gameplay that they've even showed in the trailer. It's just a big hack and slash game.
It looks like God of War to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that different.
Like I said, it's well made in terms of the technical stuff, but
if you like God of War, I bet you'd love this game.
Yeah. Like I said, I just don't have much to say about this one. There it is. It's
you got to vanquish some worthy foes, bro.
Pretty much.
Yeah, the trailer really kind of turned me off to it,
especially because it's just 2 minutes of just dudes swinging swords into enemies,
and then graphic cards popping up and saying it's fun.
Pretty much, yeah.
Unstoppable foes.
Compared to the other creative trailers that we saw, it just did not deliver.
It just played it safe.
Seems like an iPhone ad.
Ascend.
For an iPhone app.
Oh, it does look like an iPhone game, or some YouTuber is going to be pushing this. If you use my code, it's 15% off and get 37 gold.
So, yeah. Also, plus the music in this trailer really didn't fit.
The music sucks.
Oh, is this the hip hop one?
Yeah.
This is the hip hop one.
Nope.
It was bad.
It should have had Kanye. It shouldn't have gone with whoever that was.
Oof. Anywho, that's Godfall. If you're into that kind of stuff, enjoy it. Aside from that, let's go something more unique. Solar Ash from the creators of Hyper Light Drifter.
Watch
Christian,
out, Corey. If you swear, we can't monetize
it. Solar Ash, which again is another one of those games that just has an amazing, unique art style that kind of defines the entire game.
Yeah, it's an interesting look. I also played the other game that was by the developer who used, I forget that
Hyper Light Drifter.
Hyper Light Drifter. Thank goodness you're good at that, Corey.
I took notes.
Yep. Hyper Light Drifter was one of my favorite indie games I've ever played. The combat was deep, but it was kind of like a 2D top-down sort of looking game. Or like not top-down, but kind of top-down. And it was a fun game to explore the world. It was just a lot of fun. I put about 10 hours into it before I walked away from the game, and I was like, for an indie title, that's pretty good to get you that deep. And this game is using that same art style. I'm not quite sure what's happening in the game. It's more like,
again, it's another kind of slightly
conceptual
confusing
trailer.
But again, it's going for, I think, like a giant world to explore. And I think my favorite thing about it was just the traversal. There's a part like halfway through the trailer where you start to see how the character actually moves in the world, and you sort of like, I don't know if this is how Hyper Light Drifter worked, like they float almost as they move.
They're very light on their feet, and they can like warp places, like you know, like it's very like not a traditional movement style.
Exactly. You're about to see right now. We're looking at the trailer. The character's about to just start hopping and moving, and it just looks seamless and fast and fluid.
And this does look like the evolution of that indie game. It's like obvious that team spent some time building this one.
Yeah. And just, it looks like they all they do is they sort of present you with this huge world that's just going to be like your playground here.
That kind of also looks like what was that series on Netflix we were all watching, the Duncan Trussell one?
The Midnight Gospel?
It looks like Midnight Gospel, the video game, in a little way, you know? Yeah. It's an interesting, it's a cool looking game, very much early to tell what the, F it's about.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand what it is yet, but it looks really good.
No, I'm excited for that one. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Play Hyper Light Drifter. Download it on your Switch right now.
I'd like to hope this is, the people who made it, like, that was an indie title, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to hope this is, like, their first AAA, like, big
That's
game.
exactly. That was a $15 game. This is the $60 version. It's worth it.
We're going to make this game. It'll sell well. Once it sells well, we'll have an opportunity to make something even bigger. So, yeah. Solar Ash. So then there's Hitman 3, which is
Don't care. Sorry.
Well, this one looks different. I was kind of interested in this one. I haven't played many of the other ones, but this one like kind of caught my attention, just because of the kind of the environment that this one is set in.
The way they reveal his barcode this time.
Well,
I'm just giving you a hard time. It looks like an interesting game, but I don't care about the Hitman series, so that's why emotionally I immediately was like, nah. Not my thing.
I have no attachment to it either. All the other ones seem pretty much the same kind of copy paste repeat sort of formula, but this one looks a little bit different. This one looks like they're going to places they haven't been before, and that's something we need desperately. We're tired of the same old thing, and it looks beautiful. Like the graphics look amazing, like everything else. But yeah, I'm curious as to like what this one will be about because they don't reveal much.
Also, I think you're going to see the power of the PS5 come in play here. You're going to see large crowds to push through. You're going to see long view distances. You're going to see bigger maps. You're going to see higher resolution textures that can take advantage of the cool lighting because you see like they're in a techno club. You see a lot of cool lights and you see a lot of like skyscrapers in the clouds and all that stuff. And that's what the PS5 is going to do really well. What else? Where do you guys want to go from here?
There was another game. It's called Astros Playground.
Oh, got it queued up.
Or Playroom. And again, I don't really know what to make of this one. It looks kind of like just a typical
It's like a Mario Party game.
Platformer.
Not necessarily Mario Party.
And it's, I don't know. It's just you play as a little robot in a fun little platformer world, and
Chibi Robo.
I don't know. It's clearly trying to take advantage of the PlayStation's controller. I'm not sure why. I have a feeling this is going to be like one of those very experimental Sony games that might even be like a cheaper game.
Is this
Might be a
new
tech
game?
demo.
Is this a new game?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Because that
New
robot
IP.
looks really familiar.
No, it does. It reminds me of. I don't know if it's already a pre-existing thing. Are there any notes under that trailer, Christian, about this game, like in regards to its history or?
It comes preloaded with your console.
Really?
Yep.
So this is like a free game.
Yes.
Well, as far as free games go, that one looks like it'll be fun.
Yep. It's very much PlayStation branded. Even the coins have the X circle and the square and everything on
even
them.
like Michael said, I don't know what it is about that little robot, but I feel like I've seen
really
it somewhere
familiar.
before.
Yeah, I think they've used him in branding before.
They might
Maybe
have used
Astro.
it in something with like PlayStation related, but I don't know. It just looks like I've seen it before. But moving on then from there, we're going to talk about the biggest game of the year, and that's Bugsnax.
Bugsnax.
From the creators
Oh,
of
no.
Octodad comes maybe the weirdest trailer of the entire presentation.
Some Bugsnax.
Uh,
A
which-
walrus tour guide takes you on an adventure.
Yep, on an island filled with all of these bug creatures, which are made of food and have googly
The
eyes.
strawberries freak me out.
Strawberries.
and
Do
I don't even-
the rib centipedes freak you out?
Oh god, I don't know what it is about this stupid game, but it's charming as
And as
hell.
you eat the
No,
things, you
it's-
become them. Like his hand becomes a strawberry or something after
that's-
he eats
I don't
one.
know. I never
It's
even
creepy,
saw.
Corey. Just admit it.
It is a little creepy. I mean, you're right. They do become the things.
It's not.
They
It's
become
not
the
charming
thing.
at
so
all.
he ate a strawberry thing, and then he starts to become that.
Yes.
This is weird. Now, again, this is from the creators of Octodad, which is one of the strangest indie games ever made. And you play as some sort of weird Muppet-like creature, and when you consume these things, you start to become like them. But otherwise, I don't know what the rest of the game is about. It's just really weird and
A
unique.
centipede sandwich.
It's a
like I
crab
said,
apple. I
it's a
still
crab
love that.
apple.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. That is
Yeah.
great. I don't know. Like I said, I unironically think this is a unique game. I'm just, it's obviously not a
It's
graphical powerhouse
fun to
game.
make a joke about, but I have no idea what this game's going to be like. Oh, he just
Yep.
ate a French fry, and now he's got a French fry.
He's got curly fry hands. A curly fry-handed walrus. I
So-
mean, that's just so strange.
I wouldn't spend money on this game.
The wiener hands.
The guy has wiener hands. Like,
he ate
it's-
hot dogs.
like I said, if you guys ever look up Octodad, it has a great sense of humor. Like, a really weird, surrealistic sense of
I
humor.
definitely won't pay $60 for that game,
no,
but
it-
I would like to play it to see
I
what
would
it's like.
be there day one for Bugsnax.
Oh my God.
I am just so excited for
Stay tuned for our Ace Guru Bugsnax review.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Bugsnax, again, a unique, fun trailer, and that was kind of the last lighthearted trailer we got through the entire presentation. After that, things got pretty serious. So, moving on from there, Demon Souls is coming back to the system.
Souls.
It's a complete and total remake of the PlayStation 3 Classic, which basically kicked off the Dark Souls games. It's sort of like the precursor to that. It plays very similar, which is to say it's hard as shit. Those games just punish the absolute hell out of you when you play them. So they're pretty freaking hardcore. Again, I don't think you can really appreciate this trailer unless you knew a little bit about Demon Souls.
I thought it looked cool.
If you can look at the comparison screenshots between the PS3 version and this, you will see how drastic it is. Michael, I showed you one earlier.
Yeah.
And it is drastic. Like, it looks so, like, there's a shot of this, like, giant night monster, and you see it compared to the old one. It's like night and day, man. I mean, it looks great. And if anything, this will get people back into this series, and hopefully we'll see more sequels. And I played it for a little bit back in the day, but I quit because, man, this game just hurts. It punishes you at every turn. It is one of the hardest games ever made. But that's always been sort of like how those games work for that series. So,
Yeah, I remember I went and played Dark Souls at my cousin's house, and he had a save file with some of the best weapons in the game for his class. He had all this stuff. I still just died walking around trying to get places.
Exactly.
Because that game is hard.
It is.
So I'm excited about that.
But it's rewarding. I don't know. Michael, have you ever delved in any of those?
So I played a lot of the Dark Souls early, like when I was younger. I definitely like. I didn't. I mean, I guess I played Dark Souls 3 a lot. It was definitely like different than most games that I was playing at the time. I just remember like you were able to like travel to other people's worlds and like take their stuff. Like what was it? You could like join randoms and like just kill them and take
Yeah.
all their crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember, and I thought it was really awful that you could do that. But yeah, that's about as far as I go with that.
I didn't play much either. I played about an hour, and I was like, this game's fucking hard, bro. I'm done with this.
But I mean, with this brand new graphic fidelity, I think it's time to jump into Demon
You can
Souls
die
yet
in
again.
HD now.
You can. A lot. It's going to happen a lot. So we've almost reached the end of the presentation, so we're going to talk about, I think, the last couple games, which were huge.
You guys want to talk about Bugsnax again?
I would like to. I love
Let's
Bugsnax.
not.
I just love saying Bugsnax.
Bugsnax.
But I'm going to talk about my favorite game of the presentation, and I'm an unabashed fan of this series. I was hoping that it would show up, and it did. It's fucking Resident Evil 8 Village. And this trailer was awesome in every single way and is highlighting how much better Resident Evil has gotten in the last couple of games.
Do you think that trailer felt like a Resident Evil trailer?
Not at all.
No.
And
I have to
but that's
agree.
what I love about it, because Resident Evil, it almost seems like every 3 games it goes through like an evolution. Like the first 3 Resident Evil titles are traditional survival horror. Resident Evils 4 through 6 are straight up action games. And now with 7 and 8, we're getting these first person super terrifying and atmospheric like horror games. And I love that. I love that it's a constant evolution of the series, yet it still takes place in the same universe. And this one is clearly doing something way different than the other ones have ever done. If I could compare it to any of the other classic Resident Evil games, it's kind of like Resident Evil 4, where there were environments in that game where like you went to a big castle and everything, and you were in like a gothic village. It is kind of taking that feel and just sort of amplifying it to like the nth degree.
It feels very Resident Evil 4-ish. I agree.
It does.
We did not see gameplay.
We saw a little bit of gameplay, but nothing major. Most of it was, CG cutscenes and explaining the story. And what I loved about it at first is that I couldn't tell it was a Resident Evil trailer, but little by little as it started to build up, I was like, wait a minute, is this what I think it is?
And you caught the number reveal.
Umbrella logo, which comes in like it's like a split second Umbrella logo that comes in. But there's other reasons why I kind of knew this was a Resident Evil trailer, and that's because for the last couple of months, there have been leaks about this game, and they even said in the leaks it was going to be called Resident Evil 8 Village. Mm-hmm. And that it was going to be set in like a castle in a gothic town, and that your character was going to be hallucinating a lot, like because of a virus. Like they were going to be seeing like a werewolf and all types of, which is not traditional for Resident Evil at all. But clearly there's some sort of virus which is causing the character to go insane. It's also worth mentioning that they're bringing in the character. They mentioned his name once at the end. His name is Ethan. He was the main protagonist from Resident Evil 7. So he's being brought back into this story somehow. And Chris Redfield is also in there. At the very end, who apparently is now just a dick. Like, he's a bad guy now, which, who knows, that could be a hallucination as well. We're about to see the Umbrella logo in a second here. Right. By the way, I've watched this trailer, like, probably 15 times at this point. I love it. Just the atmosphere behind all of it just looks terrifying.
It gave me a lot of Outlast vibes and a lot of...
there it was. I saw it. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So once I saw that Umbrella logo, I was like, oh yeah, we're looking at Resident Evil here.
Like Outlast meets Resident Evil, which would be insane.
Yeah.
Like Outlast I've played through
there it is.
5-10 times now, and I still get scared every time. Mm-hmm. I know what's going to happen, and I know I still jump.
To me, this looks like a combination of the last first-person Resident Evil with 4. Merged together. It kind of looks
way
like
less camp and more horror.
Yeah.
Which I love. That's what I've loved about 7. It just really amplified the actual horror of the series, because the fact of the matter is, while Resident Evil is a great long-running series, everything before 7 is very kind of campy, like, and goofy in some ways. Like, it tries to be scary and everything, but it's just goofy as hell. And I love that they're getting back to the true horror of the franchise and making it scary again. I love the wintry kind of cold setting. I want to know more.
Yeah,
that's all I want to know. I just want to.
Makes me cold.
Yeah, like, because I love.
That's because you let Corey control the AC.
Oh, jeez.
Don't get me started.
but I don't know. I'm an unabashed Resident Evil fan. So anything involved in it, I'm just pumped about. So
it looks good.
It looks fantastic.
Looks really good.
It's got Capcom behind it. It's coming out in 2021. I'm there day one. Like, that's, I was always saying with PlayStation 5, a year out, I'll probably buy it. If that comes out in early 2021, I'm buying a PS5. I got to get that game.
Okay, guys. So what do you think of the new PS5's design?
I was a little concerned about it. I'm not going to lie. Like you said with the color, I think they should, we're years into the next gen, current gen, next gen sort of situation here.
And how many versions of PS4 have come out?
Exactly. So there's been like the PS Slim, the PS Pro, going on. And I feel like, on either side of whatever console you're doing, I feel like there should be more options on what you can, you're paying this premium price for this premium console.
Did they release the price? I'm going to look that up.
Not yet. I don't think so. But I'm just saying, like, let's say you pay $500 for a console. I feel like you should be able to get what you want. So if there's only going to be a white version of this, I think that's going to be a problem. So I'm thinking we're years into this, this sort of trend of buying consoles and upgrading and constantly paying more money. I feel like you should be able to get whatever color you want. I feel like you should be able to get a red PS4 or a blue PS4 or a green one.
I think there should at least be a white and a black one.
Sure.
I think.
At the very least.
Agreed. Like that needs to be a minimum.
But I thought they already announced that they're going to make a black controller because a lot of people didn't want the white controller. So if that's the case, why not make a darker color system as well to go with it?
Plastic is expensive, man.
I don't know what it takes to launch a global gaming system. I am not going to pretend I understand how that works. I'm not going to pretend I could do it better. Yeah. I do like that they're giving us two options. They're letting us slowly drift away into digital download only because they're offering the disc system as well and the digital system. Michael, you made a great point yesterday. You're like, you better buy the disc system if you want to play your old games.
Yeah.
You know? So
I guess if you didn't care about your old PS4 games or if you had all of them on digital already.
If you bought them digitally, then you can just transfer them.
PS4 discs like I do, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get that disc version because I still want to play my old games.
So I looked it up and they said, oh, sorry, Michael. I looked it up and they said about $500 is what they're thinking for this system. Sounds about
that's
right.
not bad. For a new system, that's
last
pretty
one
standard.
was.
Yeah. It'll eventually drop to $4.
Of course.
When
they inevitably release their other versions of the console.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. That's just the way it always
I'll just take this thing outside and spray paint it.
So I do I appreciate the design. It looks different than anything they've done before. I'm concerned about the little fins on the top. They look a little flimsy to me, and I don't know. That's just
that thing falls over. They're gonna crack.
Yeah, that looks like it's a flimsy plastic, and I don't know.
And it has to stand up now. You can't lay it down.
You can
lay
put
it
it on
down.
its side.
You can lay it down.
They've shown pictures of that.
They have.
Yeah,
Not yesterday.
No, they're there. Trust me.
Okay.
I've already seen
you can take that stand off the bottom of it. But
but it's
yeah,
not
the
flat.
plastic on the top looks a little flimsy to me, and that's just false viewing of a picture that we've just now seen. We won't really know until we get the physical console in our hands.
Yeah, there it is.
But those if you are moving that console around, it just feels like if you pick it up wrong or if you accidentally smack it into something in your TV stand, it feels like you might break that plastic off.
Honestly, we'll have to see till we get our hands on it. How often do you handle your system, though? Not just to play devil's advocate once you put it on your shelf.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about you or me or Corey. I'm talking about millions of people that are paying money for this console. Over $500 worth of a console. I just feel like it should be a little bit more structurally sound, and then that's just initial thoughts.
It's got LED blue rim lights, which is awesome. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. It's very futuristic. Probably they'll pulse when it comes on, and it'll be like whum whum. Or
again though, this is one of the few instances where I'm gonna praise Xbox. I love that it's just a rectangular square.
Yeah,
there's not much to it. But I kind of like the minimalist look of it, I like to keep it simple. I'm not buying the system because of what it looks like. I'm buying it because of what it does.
I don't want to have modern furniture to make my PS5 match my setup.
And this thing sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
It is a weird looking machine. it is just strange.
That's the thing I do compare my Xbox all the time to my PS4 is the Xbox is so simple to start up and use. Because the button is right there. You press the button to eject the disc, and you put the disc in, and that's it. You turn it on, the button's there. The PS4, I have a hard time finding the tiny little, thin plastic little,
Oh, it's definitely hidden.
I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The little tiny plastic little strips of buttons that you got to, press in with your fingernail to try to get.
Totally depends on which PlayStation you're talking about, but some of them have bigger buttons, some of them are very streamlined, built into the lines of the system, very hard to find. Yeah,
it's just hard to find that, and sometimes I can't even find the disc drive. At least on the Xbox, I can see it's clearly that's where you insert the disc. But on the PS4, there's a lot of little creases and lines that sometimes I can't tell.
I'm surprised they did not announce the price yesterday. That should have been maybe the end.
That should have been the last thing they mentioned.
Yeah, I think they're still probably debating that. On on
maybe
terms
even
of
reaction to
reaction in terms of how well these games are going to pre-order as well.
Have they announced the Xbox's cost?
Nope.
No, I'm also
maybe
looking up rumors.
Maybe that would be a strategic move on their part. They're they release Xbox is $500. Ours is
$480 or something. They'll just $499.
They'll just go a little shorter, just to get that advantage.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. They're going to play hardball. They got a lot of competing to do this generation.
I just think everything's getting cheaper. I said, I just built a computer for $500. That is
crazy.
Still cheaper or still more powerful than these new systems that's going to be coming out.
Yeah.
And I can upgrade it. I know everyone doesn't want to become a PC builder. Okay, I get that. But I'm just saying, like, the options we have as gamers now are growing, and you have all these cool customizable things you can do to them. And I just think these consoles probably more than ever are going to be going up against stiff competition, you know? Or I hope everything's just merging into one big thing and there's just cross compatibility. Like now you can play that Battlefield Warzone game with PC, Xbox. Can you play it on PlayStation 2, I think?
So everything is cross-compatible now.
Yeah.
It's a little strange how it works, but it does work.
I'm okay with it. I like it.
Yeah, it's really cool. The only thing is, like, you know, you spent all this money on this PC, and I was considering it for a while, but now I'm stuck on console because look at all these amazing titles.
That won't come to a PC.
You're not getting any of that on PC.
I bet about 40% of that stuff might come to PC.
Maybe.
Well, don't worry. Bugsnax will eventually come to PC. They announced it in the trailer.
Okay. You can have your Bugsnax.
Wiener hands.
God, I love that. Wiener Hands, best game of the... All right, so for just a sense of finality, let's just go ahead and mention these last two games. There was Horizon Zero Dawn 2, which we mentioned just a little bit. It's the sequel to the other one.
It looks bigger and better.
That's basically it. I didn't play the other one. I don't have an emotional attachment to it.
I played it. It was fun. I played it for about an hour. It was a good game. The gameplay's fun. I hope it's more intuitive because I found the last game to be actually very intuitive. So if they dial it in more, even better. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Michael, any thoughts?
I've not played the first one, so I have no idea. But it does look really beautiful, and it looks like the environments are very vivid. I'm not sure what it's about, really, to be honest with you.
There's no doubting the technical merits of Horizon Zero Dawn. Last game we're going to mention is Pragmata. It's a ridiculous trailer. It's from Capcom. It is about a little girl and a weird, freaky astronaut who go into space and on the moon. And I don't know what to say about it, but it's really ambitious and it's crazy, and it's a brand new game from Capcom, so who knows what's going to happen.
Like it, but I also feel Times Square as a place to play games is getting a little wore out. You know, like this Times Square, and it's an astronaut and a little girl battle a giant junk monster. I don't know how to describe what I'm even seeing.
There's no way to describe how crazy. Like, it's just a crazy Capcom title.
What was that robot?
Another
game?
Death Stranding type feeling game.
And more cats.
Oh, a cat that's see-through and may have a cybernetic skull, or
what was that robot game for PS4 exclusive? Oh, you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
I have no idea. To be
robot
honest.
game doesn't tell me much.
It's like a humanoid guy, but he's got a robot chip in him, and he's
Deus Ex Machina.
That one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It kind of gives me that sort of feel.
I feel like Hideo Kojima at first made this, but again I found out that it was a Capcom title. And
everyone can make this game now. Just make some shit float in the air and glitch.
But it definitely get like a weird esoteric Death Stranding kind of vibe to it. Like it's very strange. But again, it's another one of those games that it has potential, but I don't know anything about it. I couldn't tell you anything about the gameplay.
Very angular, cyberpunky. I don't know. It's a weird game.
It is.
We'll see what's up.
But yeah, it's Pragmata, and that along with Horizon Zero Dawn ended the entire presentation along with the console reveal. Otherwise, what a presentation, guys.
Took us on a ride, that's for sure.
It really did. I was super thrilled during the entire thing. I loved a lot of the games. I'm very excited. I now am more pumped about PS5. Before, I could barely care. I was just like, whatever, there's a new system coming out. Now I'm legitimately interested. Now I'm pumped up for all these great new games. Overall, I'd give the presentation, out of 10, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was solid as hell.
It was good. I agree, Corey. I say 9 out of 10 as well.
The only thing we didn't get was Last of Us news at all. I mean, it's coming out, next week?
Yeah.
So the only thing I kind of wanted to recap on Last of Us, IGN gave their official review, and they gave it a 10 out of 10. Masterpiece.
Yeah. A lot of other reviewers are calling it, one of the best games of the generation.
So, that
is always the story. Some great games come out right as consoles retire.
Yeah. They reach their peak.
That is a thing I've seen quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, this presentation, I'd probably give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it was solid throughout the entire way. Right now, I'd say Sony is leading the charge in terms of the next generation consoles of where they're going and what they're going to do. Maybe they need to redesign the console. Maybe you think differently. It's your opportunity to sound off in the comment section below. Did any of you guys check out PS5's big presentation, The Future of Gaming? Did you have any favorite games that they showed off? Anything you're looking forward to? Are you going to go Sony? Are you going to go Microsoft? Are you going to stick with the big boys, Nintendo? Let's discuss all of it in the comment section below, guys.
Well,
Again, thank you for watching the podcast. If you guys have any topics you guys want us to talk about, any questions for us personally, make sure to also sound off in the comment section below. We'll be able to get back to you guys. Subscribe to the channel for more of this weekly podcast show, as well as all of our other reviews. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Super easy to do. Helps out the
Slap
videos
that like
tremendously. We also have a Patreon, PayPal account. Check those out in the description box. You'll be able to not only support the channel, but if any of you guys are big anime fans, you make a donation, I'll review a series of your choice. Otherwise, guys, you want to leave us with anything else?
Like I said, I'm jumping ship. This was a really fun experience for me, but it's time to go. I gotta side with Sony on this one.
Well, and I want to say I'm still a PC gamer through and through, especially now that I built my new PC. But the console that I choose is, I want to see what Xbox is offering, but I've always had a PlayStation. So I think most likely, and I've never owned an Xbox, so I guess I am a PlayStation guy. I'm excited about this being my second console, when I'm not playing my PC.
Until Xbox gets Spiderman, which will never happen.
Sony owns the rights.
I think I know what I'm doing.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, guys. Well, that sounds really great. We'll see you guys next time in the wild world of Bugsnax.
Oh, wiener hands.
Bugsnax.